Have you ever spent hours cleaning your space for it to only last a day or two? When you only clean the surface, the clutter comes back, but smart decluttering makes the house easier to maintain. Hello, I'm Corinne. I'm a certified feng shui consultant, and in this video, I'm going to explain how to declutter smarter, not harder. First, let's talk about how to avoid future clutter. Number 1. Shop with intention. I like to tell people I'm a hunter, not a shopper. I go in, I get what I'm looking for, and I leave. Number 2, make a list and stick to it. When I don't make a list, I tend to pick up things that I don't need. I get duplicates, and then I forget things that I do need. So making a list is always smart when it comes to keeping yourself organized. Number 3 is to avoid impulse purchases. I remember when we used to shop at Costco when my kids were little, I used to pick up things that I did not need because everything at Costco was such a good price. Now let's talk about removing the things that create the clutter in the first place. Clothes that don't fit anymore. I am notorious for holding on to things like, if I just lose 5-10 pounds, I'm going to fit this again. But I've decided I'm just going to get rid of it, and if I ever lose that weight, I'm just going to reward myself with buying myself something new. The next one in this category is duplicates. I have a lot of little blankets and throws, mostly because I have dogs, and also when we sit on the sofa, everybody has their own throw or their own blanket. So I have found that the best thing to do with extra blankets for me is I donate them to a pet shelter or a vet. Where do you tend to have duplicates? Is it clothes? Is it shoes? Is it tools? Everybody has like a certain area where they end up with a lot of the same kind of item. And this is where you can really cut down, you can really hone in and decide what you want to keep and what you can get rid of. Next is broken items. If you don't plan on fixing it, just get rid of it or replace it. Containers with no lids, or lids that don't have the matching container. When I was growing up, we had a drawer for lids and all the containers were stacked in the cupboard. And so every time we needed to store something, it was a matter of taking the time to dig through the lids and find the correct lid for the right container. And it just ended up being such a hassle and such a time waster. So what I've done is I've just decided to store my storage containers with the lids on, and it just makes everything simpler and quicker. The next one is a kind of sensitive subject, but it's things kept out of guilt. So I'm going to use my son as an example. He asked me, he said, "Do I need to hold on to all the cards you guys have given me throughout my life, or can I get rid of them?" And I said to him, absolutely get rid of them. You don't need to hold on to those. I said, if we wrote anything in there that you really want to keep that memory, then take a picture of it. Okay, the next one, and this is really, really important. It's getting rid of items that match your old identity, not who you're becoming. Say you went through a time in your life where you really needed to work on a certain area and you got a self-help book on it and you read it and it was perfect for you at the time and it meant a lot to you and you just loved that book so much. But now you've completely healed, you've moved on, it is no longer an issue in your life, but you still have the book. This is a really good opportunity for you to either give it away or donate it. You no longer need that book. If this does not match your identity of who you are and who you are becoming, you no longer need it. Let's talk about how to make cleaning easier in the future. This one's not that exciting, but it is very important. You want to keep your countertops and your floors as clutter-free as possible, because when your countertops and floors are full of clutter, then everything just accumulates on top of that. But the empty space, when they're cleared off, it's something like subconscious that tells you you want to keep that space clear and clean, and then whatever it is that you are not using anymore, you are more likely to put it away. The next one in this category is to give everything a home. I have baskets for so many things. I have baskets for electronics cords. I have baskets for my dog toys. I have baskets for shoes. I have baskets for dirty clothes. If everything has a home, it is so quick and easy to put things away. But if you don't have a home for an item, it just kind of sits there and you're like, I don't know where to put it, so I'm just going to leave it there. That's what you want to avoid. So you want to assign everything in your house a home. The fourth and final category that I want to cover today is household habits. This is one most parents feel very strongly about, but haven't quite got it perfected. And that is everyone should manage their own belongings. This is an area where I'm getting better at setting boundaries. Commuter mugs, for example. When my family members use commuter mugs and then they just set them on the sink and then they don't get washed, at the end of the day, if they're still sitting there, I have been known to write "still dirty" on a Post-it note, put the Post-it note on the commuter mug, and then put it in their rooms. Because I'm letting them know I am not going to take apart your commuter mug because you have to wash every component individually. So they have to do it. That's their job. And it's the same thing for me with bento boxes because, there's a gasket and there's a lid, and sometimes there's little utensils attached to it, and then you got to get all the nooks and crannies, and you don't know how long that food has been sitting in that container. So if it's not mine, I'm not cleaning it. They have to clean it. The next one on this list is don't become the default organizer or cleaner. I know this is easier said than done for most parents out there, but if it's not yours, and if your child is old enough to take care of it themselves, make sure that becomes their responsibility on the regular basis. You don't want to enable, because what happens is they get used to you cleaning up after them and it just becomes so much more work. Whereas if they do it themselves, then they learn that this is my responsibility to take care of what's my own. And it just helps people become more responsible. And in the end, it just makes keeping the house clean so much easier. The last one in this category is to return misplaced items to their owner's space. And this one I kind of already covered, and it's pretty basic, but it really does make everything easier for everyone. It's normal and it's natural for people to leave things out like books or projects or homework, etc., in a main space like a living room or a dining area or kitchen. And the next day they're gone. They go to school or they go to work and it's left there. What do you do with it? Do you clean up for them? Just take those things, put them back in their space, and then they can organize it from there. That way you're keeping the main rooms clean and clutter free, and then you're also helping them to know that they have to take care of their own stuff, but not enabling them in the process. The goal is not perfection. The goal is to have less to maintain. Less stuff equals easier cleaning, and less clutter equals less stress. I hope this video helps you to declutter smarter, not harder. If you got anything from this video, let me know in the comments, hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching.